outwards, you're focused on the impermanence. The real permanence is that transcendental energy. And so you embody that, focus, concentrate, and embody. And that's what we will do. So, so for inward orientation, three things, three very, very simple things. Eyes lightly closed, still and relaxed posture, right? So closing your eyes, the sensory input gets minimized. When your body moves, your mind moves, because we want to concentrate. So we want to have a still posture. And relaxed in the sense, if there is any strain anywhere, your mind will immediately go there. So relaxed, still posture, eyes lightly closed. So that is just the prerequisite. And now the backdrop. So we have to think of the presence. We ought to be in the presence of this transcendental energy coming from a conscious source, which is right here, right now. That's key. So not distant, just right here, right now. And from that source, the light is emitting into it, and you're receiving in your heart. So this light is coming into your heart, enlightening it, and then distributing throughout your body. You're getting completely and totally immersed in it. And that's all you do. Or actually, there is nothing to do. You just observe that this transcendental energy is entering your heart, distributing throughout your body. You're getting completely and totally immersed in it. But mind wanders away. So all you do is to get back to this thought and this thought alone. So from multitude of thoughts, you're coming to this observation of this transcendental energy in form of light. That's entering your heart and then distributing throughout your body. That's all you're watching. And you will go deep in it. You will forget about where you are, who you are, and even where you started this meditation. That's fine. So we'll start with music. Music helps concentration. Then we go deep into silent meditation on this for 15 minutes, and then we'll transition out with music again. Let's start now. A happy Saturday, everyone. Glad that we are here. Um, so, post meditation is time to absorb that energy and, just so there is absolutely no pressure, but, so while everybody does that, you know, if you want to put your video on, you want to ask a question, any comments, thoughts. So usually you know, uh, just that's just for the conversation's sake. I'm very comfortable with silence, and I want you all to be as well, which doesn't come naturally, but you know, some backdrop of conversation while everybody else just soaks up the energy, that works.
Good morning and happy Saturday. This was a beautiful meditation.
Thank you.
But I was wondering, Sanjiva, if you could speak to, as I've been reading more about Dharma, and I've taken out many books from the library, I wonder if you could explain to me the reason behind the suffering. I mean, there's suffering on a personal level, such as parents who lose their children, or just any number of things that can crop up in one's personal life. But then there is global suffering that I have a harder time coming to terms with. I have long heard the expression that what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, and suffering builds character. But really, why? And I don't know if Buddha is the one who decided that suffering is part of Dharma, but what is the actual reason behind suffering both individually and globally? Because it almost seems counterintuitive to having a peaceful life and us practice and hoping for peace, light, and love when suffering brings so much pain and darkness to the world and to us individually.
I mean, thanks, Paula, and it's sometimes I feel the questions here are service to everyone in the community, for us all, because I mean, this question, if somebody has not asked themselves, that would be a surprise. I would like to know. So, Paula, if you may, and I think we have had some conversations where I I had kind of apologized up front that I might be going on a tangent or on a segue, and which I, mostly unintentionally
We
do.
like your tangents.
so, so on this one, I think, let me tell you one personal experience. I was, as we have talked about, Shivangi always thankfully talks about the overview, and that I was born in Satsang family. All around me, this was happening. In-person satsangs were just part of my life, day one, I guess. Now, so I used my inner strength, my ability to concentrate, focus, meditate, and be one with, whatever my experience was. I utilized it for myself to quote unquote grow in the world. And then something changed. And one day I was thrown into, like, why don't you share this with others? And I'm like, well, why? I'm happy. I'm good. Um, but this, I think, Guru Maharaj writes that this is not your choice. It's just you get to some point where, for your own peace, you have to share the peace, or, in other words, the peace becomes so abundant that it splashes, or whatever, however you want to. So perspective changed. And with that perspective change, I opened up my eyes to the rest of the world in some ways. I was me, focused on this, that, and blah, blah, blah. I think before that, I wasn't even aware how people are suffering. I was more about me and where am I and what am I doing? When the perspective changed, I started talking to people for real and relating to them. And what I realized was that every single one of them, you think they are very well off, you think they are suffering. You think they are rural, illiterate people. You think this, you think that. Everybody's suffering. I'm like, what? That I wasn't aware that it's not just me who is going through all this, everyone. So, that's one, experience that um, we look at sometimes things so narrowly or in a myopic view of our own experience. But when you start looking, suffering is us. But then uh, lately, and I have, like a lot of things you hear, a lot of things you experience, but sometime the bulb goes on. And I'm like, if it wasn't for suffering, how would you spiritually grow? Until and unless something makes you stir the pot inside, how would you grow? So that's one question. And again, I rarely share this with even, I do sometimes, but sometimes. So this is, I was in college. I went to southern India in Trichy and Bangalore, which is quote unquote the Silicon Valley of India. So I was doing a project there. This is 80s. So one of my uncles, my eldest uncle, doc, he was a doctor. He served all through his tenure, so in the northern part of India. So Guru Maharaj's eldest son. So he visited Bangalore. So I was there too. And one day, breakfast time, everybody went to fetch the breakfast, and somehow, and there was a big, age gap, so communication was very limited. And in India, the respect for elders and all that. So, so I was sitting across him, and suddenly I saw tears flowing in his eyes, and I was like, there was nobody around, and I'm like, oh, where do I hide? What do I do now? Um, and he said one statement that has lived with me since, is that if in suffering I remember, then please give me suffering.
Mm.
And I tell you, I didn't know what that meant, but today I do. It was a deep, deep statement. I think it was like literally one-on-one. It is the suffering that makes us remember. It's the suffering that makes us think of something beyond us. And that can lead to transcendence. And if you kind of come back to the ground level, what we just, what I talked about, Buddhism, which is, I just, researched a little bit and nothing very original there. It's just, that has been talked about for ages. One of the tenets there is that world is impermanent, or world is ever changing. So even the best of the best of the best things, deteriorate slash, I can go on and on talking about some of that. It's like, in one of my meditations, one of my friends I was at in Rhode Island, they called one of the neighbors, and he asked, like, can I meditate on my mother? I don't believe in anything else. That's the closest I get to. And I didn't know what to say, because I didn't want to say that anything in this world, if you look at physically, that physical form will change. What I have learned is that you meditate on something that doesn't change. And what is in this world that doesn't change? The suffering is there because we tie ourselves to something that changes.
Wow.
So I think it's all in the perspective. We have been taught. Actually, Arvindji is not here today. He shared, I think, last session. So I made him, look up a lot of stuff from Lisa Miller. And he has been researching, writing about it and all that, and helping me with some Substack articles on that. And one of the statements that he emphasized last time was that we have been educated out of blah, blah, blah. So maybe our perspectives have been, kind of twisted to be more into what is impermanent rather than otherwise. So we have been educated out of living in peace.
Agreed, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this is a deep subject, because every now and then, when I get so overwhelmed. So, I went to India, and a lot of times there are thousands of people in these sessions. And I just devoted that session on why the suffering and what we need to do. And pretty much what I think, in essence, what we're talking about here. But we can't ignore that there is so much suffering. But we need to learn to transcend. We need to learn to attach to the right thing, so that the attachments to the impermanence is replaced. And that some people think is about leaving the world or not taking care of this or not taking care of that. You will take care of things much better when you are peaceful, when you are strong, when you are, you know, your ability to imbibe energy uh, and connect with energy and replenish energy and all that is in place.
Absolutely 100% true. Thank you so much for that. Okay.
And thanks for asking. I tell you, it's your questions are always deep, very deep. Wow, that question and answer itself was a meditation, I would say.
It was, and I hope that I didn't ruin anyone's peace here today, because it was a beautiful meditation and it was very peaceful.
It was, and and so is now. See, actually, in one of the sessions, I think someone new asked that, are we talking about philosophy? Why am I talking? It's like, and the thing is, Guru Maharaj's view was that there are so many myths about meditation, about, you know, uh, like, why should we meditate or why should we detach? What is detachment? And, just some food for thought before and after meditation, especially actually after meditation, once you have cleared your mind to some degree, uh, it's always good to, reflect. And those reflections are really good. So almost 10 after. Yeah, it's so quiet. Actually, it's even asking sometimes feel like we're disturbing the calm and quiet.
Hello, sir. This is Sriram here. I have a question on the meditation. Is it right time to ask?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So, should I be visualizing a light? How is it, sir? Can you please explain
So,
that?
so again, I, this is another question that just is very, very, very common. And, there is a reason why this question. Um, so if you see my hand, you are seeing because there is light. So you don't actually see light, you're seeing the hand. So trying to see or visualize light is a very interesting phenomenon. Think of, it travels through the wires, the bulb goes on, you can see the bulb, but actually, uh, you know, you're only seeing the bulb, not the light. So interesting. So here the thought is that the light, when it enlightens your heart, when in light, you will see things that you have not seen before. You will find clarity. You will find knowledge. So think of, you were in a dark room. You switch on the light, suddenly it's a whole new perspective. So thought here is that you are switching on the light. So the ideal thing is that a conscious source, so whatever you believe in, they should be here with you. You should be in the presence. So it's God, it's Guru, it's Buddha, it's Christ, whatever you believe in, the conscious, that becomes the conscious source. That becomes the source of this light that is enlightening your heart. And so think of this is like a very subtle, very abstract concept, which just by implementing, and convincing yourself that you are in the presence and this light is actually coming to your heart and enlightening it, and then your entire body, and hence you become the light. See, light is such a phenomena. I mean, sun is so far away. It's pretty much responsible for life on the earth. So think of the, energy of the universe. And if you connect to that pool of consciousness or awareness, you will just be energized. That's the intent.
Okay. So we are still objectifying. Am I right to understand that, sir? Because now it will be more of an experience. Is there a time that I will realize that light? I mean, I hope you get the point. Now we are only looking at light as an object, outside object. So it's an experience for me. Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually, you're right. The idea is to transcend. So when do we get to that point? So Maharishi Patanjali, father of yoga philosophy, is like, he talks about pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi as part of his 8 limbs of yoga, which people got stuck with asanas and pranayams. What he was talking about is the entire spectrum to get to oneness with the transcendental energy. So pratyahar is inward orientation, or because you are the light, you focus inwards and try to find within your heart. So you need to focus inwards, concentrate. So that is dharana, which is like, what is the backdrop of your meditation? That's extremely important, which I was trying to say in other words, that in just breath work, there's not necessarily a serious backdrop. The backdrop here is this transcendental energy, transcendental light. And so you focus or concentrate with that backdrop, you feel the presence, and that is just a starting point or imagination. But when you go deep into your meditation, you forget, eyes are closed, you go deep. At some point, you don't know where you are, who you are, and where you started your meditation. So you forget about you were being with the light. But because your mind keeps reviving and coming back or wandering, when you need to have the backdrop is important from that perspective, because and when you go deep in your meditation, eventually higher awareness, higher consciousness, and all that which is bound to happen if your heart is enlightened or if you are enlightened. So that will eventually get there.
And one final question, sir. Sorry, on the meditation. Yeah. So I had more of a purple blue colors. I mean, I don't know why, but it settled that way at the end of the session.
Mhm.
Hope that's okay, or is there anything that we should look on that? Or
yeah. So the in the sessions I have described, like when you meditate on the Agya chakra between the eyebrows, on the forehead, that is a very, very, very common phenomenon. But when you focus on your heart, it's not so common. And there are reasons, and we can go deeper another time. But so when you focus on the heart, the progress is slow, and the things that you see are limited or non-existent, but the ego doesn't boost, and because you're not really seeing your progress in some ways, and because of that, you get to the end goal faster. That's what was Guru Maharaj and his gurus' advice and experience. So the advice here is that don't worry about it, just keep going.
Okay. That's good. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that.
It's good, but let's not get caught up in it, because the Sat Raj Tam, which is the positive, negative, and the blend of those things, keep affecting you. So the energies that affect your meditation, you will see variations in the level of concentration, level of, feeling good even. So there are not all meditation days will be the same. And you will experience that. Anybody who has done meditation will experience that. But that is what you need to continue to go by.
Okay.
So
thank you.
Our task is to meditate, not just measure where I am or how I'm doing, because that mostly distracts rather than helps.
Yeah, not to analyze, but just keep doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you. Thank you.
And enjoy the ride, though, right? So
yes, yeah.
Questions, the thoughts, the collective energy, and what we are feeling right now, all good.
Okay. Understood. Thank you very much.
Sure thing. Thank you. Thanks for the discussions. And so Heather, Mary, AC, anything else before we wrap up? Great session, great conversation. I think I'm ready to wrap up.
Pranam Bhaiya.
How are you?
Very well. Thank you so much. It really was a beautiful session today.
No, it is.
Pranam.
Namaskar.